Hi, ladies and gentlemen. You are here because you're wondering, how can I read like a scientist? Well, you've come to exactly the right place because that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. When we read like a scientist, we often use different types of reading skills than if we were just reading a novel or a story or a picture book that we enjoy. When we read like a scientist, we are trying to learn something. So let me show you the resources that I have gathered for you for some researching today and how I would like you to try to take notes. Here's our Bitmoji classroom for today. But this is a video that you could rewatch over and over again and use for any kind of scientific reading. But I do want to do this little short intro of your work that needs to get done today, which for you is Sunday, September 13th. Okay, so first in our Bitmoji classroom, we have a Google Doc linked here. This is where all of our resources will be linked. So when you open this doc, you can see your names and the questions that you are researching. Then there's a column of all different resources. Now I've listed things to read. You have 6 things here, some things to watch, something to listen to, and then there's a kind of playing game thing, which you need to sign up and join a class, and then that will be, you can access that. But I want to talk to you about how we read like a scientist. So that's what we're going to do first. So you can pick one of the reading resources. You will need your science notebook to keep your notes. Okay, remember that's the small yellow one. And we can read. When we read for enjoyment, we're just reading for fun. But reading like a scientist is a little bit different. It's reading with a job to do. And our job is to collect some information from these things we're reading. And the way we're going to do that is by taking some notes. So I'm going to show you first how to get your notebook set up so that we can take some good notes. The first thing you'll want to do is title your page. So I've also put the date on there for me. Then we're going to use a boxes and bullets strategy to keep our notes. So when we find what website we want to read, we will put that in a box. And then the facts we learn from that website, we will use bullet points to collect those facts. So let me show you how I do that. Okay, here I have a little split screen and it's kind of crazy everything. So I have me in the corner. Hi. I've got my notebook, which you can, this is live. And then I also have my web browser opened up. Okay, so you're going to want to have your notebook open when you're reading like a scientist. So here, first thing I need to do is write the title and the website. Okay, so I've put the title of the article, which is Pendulum Facts for Kids, and I put the website, which I found it on Kiddle.com, right? Don't write in the whole URL, just the general place you got the information from. Okay, so now I get to read. Yay! A pendulum is a mass, any object, usually metal, on an arm. The arm is attached to a pivot, which is a point to swing from. The mass will naturally hang down because of gravity. But if it is pushed to one side, it will oscillate, which means that it will swing from side to side. The frequency of the swinging pendulum stays the same. Okay, I'm going to be totally honest with you. That is a hard paragraph to read. It has a ton of expert words, and it's going to take some work to figure out what all that means. But that's why we're here. We want to learn these things. We want to answer our science questions. So let's start doing some of this work. This article has this image here. So anything that we want to know about the words, we can refer here to this diagram. So I've read it once. That was the first time to just like get my brain kind of situated, but I'm definitely going to need to read it again. A pendulum is a mass, any object, usually metal, on an arm. Okay, pause. So this is the pendulum, right? A mass, any object, usually metal, on an arm. So this must be the mass, the thing, any object, and the arm is this black line. Got it. The arm is attached to a pivot, which is a point to swing from. So the mass, this thing, is on the arm, and the arm is attached to the pivot. Yep, there it is, frictionless pivot. So now it's attached to this thing. That's where the swinging happens. The mass will naturally hang down. There's the mass again. Will naturally hang down because of gravity. I've heard of gravity before. So now I'm thinking, maybe I even want to draw what I'm thinking. So here is the, what would they call it? The pivot. Got it. The mass will naturally hang down because of gravity. Got it. But if it's pushed to one side, it will oscillate, which means it will swing from side to side. Okay. So if it's pushed, right? So it'll go choo, choo, choo. The frequency of the swinging pendulum stays the same. Got it. So now I want to write like one or two things of what that means to me. I've taken this information, I've kind of broken it down piece by piece, and I understand what it means. I've taken it in. Now I want to write down something that kind of summarizes what I've read. So I know now that a pendulum is this drawing, right? This whole thing is the pendulum. It's like a couple different pieces that work together. It's a thing that swings back and forth. You'll notice that I'm making a new bullet point for each fact I'm writing down. So a pendulum is this thing. I've drawn maybe I'll even label this. This is like a basic pendulum. Pendulum is this. It's an object that swings back and forth. Great. Now it hangs down naturally because of gravity, but if it's pushed to one side, it will oscillate. There's an expert word. So something else I like to do is I like to keep a little list of important like expert words, just so I'm getting in the habit of like knowing how to talk like an expert about this. So here are my notes a little bit more clearly. I wrote the title of the article and the website in the box, and then I pulled out a few facts, right? I wrote them in my own words. I read the paragraph at least 2 times, and I figured out what it was saying. I kind of copied that diagram, but I put it in words that made sense to me, right? This is what I'm understanding, and that's why I wrote it. I also kept a list of expert words. So my next step would be to complete that article using the same process that you just saw me do. I would read a little bit, I would try to figure out what that means, and I would take some notes that make sense to me using boxes and bullets. Now, another thing we can do is watch a video. A video is a great way to learn some information. Now, we don't just watch these videos for enjoyment, we are watching them to learn. So we're going to repeat the same process, but instead of reading the article paragraph by paragraph and taking notes, you're watching the video piece by piece. So I'm not going to show you exactly how I do that because it's going to take too long to like show you the video and show you how I take notes. But my suggestion would be this. Watch the video, the whole thing first. Then go back to the beginning and watch it for a little bit. And if you have a thought like, ooh, I want to make sure I remember this, pause the video, take your note. Then continue the video, watch a little bit more, and you might think, ooh, I have something else I want to write down that I learned from this. Pause it again, take your note, and then watch the video. So I'm expecting you to watch it once without any notes just to kind of get your brain ready. Then start from the beginning, watch it again, and pull out some of those facts that they're teaching you today about pendulums or force or energy. So if you're looking to watch a video, there's a few here. You click the link, and that will take you to the video to show you something about coupled pendulums or pendulums. So when you get to the video, a reminder, watch it all the way through first, okay? And then go back to the beginning and write down the things that you're thinking. What are you learning? What information are you taking away from this that you want to remember? Okay, this video is already way longer than I want it to be, so I'm going to keep this part really short. Your job today is to read like a scientist. Take some notes. Of the resources I gave you, read them slowly. Learn things. Pull stuff out of it. Because then when we come back together as a group, you are going to share what you've learned. Okay? I will see you later. Bye, scientists!